Although the snow biome did help us a lot and gave us some really cool resources, we had to move on in the series, and that's exactly what we did. We got to the desert phase, which had a lot of nice loot, and we managed to get a full set of iron armor, including a mob spawner with the skeleton egg, which is going to turn into XP farm. After that we got into the jungle phase, and we were able to fully automate our mob farm with a little chest and some hoppers, which is definitely going to help us getting all the loot that we can from the mob farm. After that I decided it was time for us to actually do some work on the mob farm and decorate it, but I got sidetracked by the wandering trader that gave us an infinite water source with a bucket of tropical fish. After that I just installed a little pod over here with the infinite water source. I'm just keeping spruce, although I don't really think it's going to stay this way. I tried to just kinda take a little bit of water and put it back in, but obviously that didn't end up so good, and we killed our friend Fishy. He sacrificed his life to give us an infinite water source, so you will be missed and we won't forget you. After that I decided it would be a good idea to have a couple more of these pods just to kinda keep things symmetrical, and that's exactly what I did. We have one in each corner, and every time we need some water we can just come over here and get as much water as we need. And of course we can move the infinite water source to the place where we need it, but this is just kinda the main source of the water. I just put some slabs on top of it so no mobs are going to spawn, so we should be really safe. After that I decided it was time to actually move on to the mob farm a little bit more. So basically what I'm doing right now is copying the shape that we have at the top of our mob farm over here at the bottom side. You probably guess what I'm making from the actual thumbnail and from the title. We are pretty much gonna be decorating our mob farm and making a giant hourglass from it. As you can see, this already looks like an hourglass, but there is still a ton more work that we need to do. There is a few things that I need to do before I actually put in the pillars, like grabbing a little bit more wood since I'm kinda running out, to pretty much slab off the bottom portion of the mob farm since we don't want to have any mobs spawning on that platform. We only want them to spawn inside of our mob farm and gather every single drop that we can. Luckily for us we have 2x2 spruce trees which give us a ton of wood, and you can see that I already managed to slab off the whole thing, so hopefully no mobs are gonna be spawning right now. But you can see there is still a ton more decoration that we need to do, and you probably saw it from the thumbnail, so it's just going to come together later on. I really like how this looks, but the pillars are actually going to push it to the next level. Another thing that I wanted to do is actually use some oak wood to pretty much break up the flatness of two materials that we are using, cobblestone and spruce trees. And you can see cutting the whole mob farm gave us roughly 6 stacks of the actual wood, including the one tree that we chopped previously, which is really amazing. Although we don't really need this much, it is definitely going to help. You can see the little sign over there, Cobblegen 3000 actually glows since I used some torches to light it up. And right now I'm just going to use some oak slabs to pretty much put like a little outline going around the actual mob farm. Now, this part of the video probably took the longest, working on the actual pillars. If you paid attention to the actual thumbnail, you're going to see that I didn't really go for this design. This is pretty much called spruce wood action. We have spruce logs and spruce stairs, and after a bit of time I pretty much decided to take it down and rebuild the whole thing. So definitely took a lot of the time. You're going to see this is pretty much the design of the actual pillar that we're going to go for. We just use some different blocks to make a bit more color. You can see that I did have two different designs that I can choose from, although I really like the shape of the right one. The spiral effect was really nice. It was kinda too much spruce, since the actual mob farm, the whole thing is made out of spruce planks. Using a lot of spruce stairs just didn't really make that sense. Of course, the one on the left one is the one we actually went for, since it has a lot of these spruce logs. Even though it's spruce logs and spruce planks, the spruce log has a darker color, which definitely helps kinda break up the flatness of the actual mob farm, so ultimately I decided for that one. And this is the big reveal for me and for you guys as well. The first time I just saw a glimpse of that right pillar, I immediately fell in love with it. You can see the actual bird sapling that we got from the watering trader really helped, and the color is absolutely amazing, a really nice contrast of colors. After that, there was pretty much no need for any further debate. I planted some more bird saplings and started gathering a lot more, since we're going to need 3 more pillars of it. After gathering a bit more birch wood, it was time for us to get all the stairs that we need for the pillars and start off with removing the actual spruce stairs that we had in the second pillar and replace them with the birch ones. I'm really happy with the way this turned out, and I think it was a great idea to actually remove and try some different stairs over here, because the color of it and the contrast with the actual mob farm turned out really great, and I absolutely love this combination. I mean, just look at it. How can you not love this? I just noticed there's a little stair that's missing like halfway through the left pillar, but I'm going to take care of that later on. I'm just excited to see how well this is actually turning out. I had a picture in my mind and it's actually turning a lot better than I thought. Just imagine 2 more pillars behind these ones holding the back, and I think they're just kinda gonna be barely visible from the pillars in the front, but I think it's going to look great nonetheless. One thing that I need to think about is what we're going to do at the top, since the pillars don't really look like they're actually holding anything, at least at the top side. Tell you what, doing these pillars from the start and not having to replace the stairs is actually a lot easier than I thought. It took like half the time to do 2 pillars, then it took like the first pillar where we pretty much had to replace every single stair. We're just kinda going in the spiral, and this technique is working really well, although I kinda ran out of the spruce and I almost died a few times coming back. This time I grab a bit more of these spruce logs than I did the first time, so hopefully we're gonna have enough to pretty much finish the whole thing. I just want to kind of walk you guys through the process of this, just to see me kind of build, since a lot of this I kind of built on like time lapses and stuff, which was really fast, but this way you guys can actually see the process, although it's like sped up maybe 2 or 3 times already. You can see we're just kind of going in this spiral, like 3 logs at a time and 1 stair just going around, and it turned out a really nice pattern. 4 pillars down and I think it looks absolutely amazing. Of course I have to fall from the trees. I honestly kinda thought they were not going to be that visible. I thought they would be more to the left and the right, kinda behind the pillars that we have in the front of the mob farm. But I think it turned out really nice. They're kinda closer to the middle, so they're really visible. And I love the shape and the color and that little spiral going across. I think that was a really needed change since there was a ton of spruce. One thing that I still need to do is actually figure out what I'm going to do at the top. One idea that I had is to actually recreate this circle, the platform, the original platform that we had, that's like 45 block radius circle at the top, but that's going to take a bit of time. But I absolutely love this view as well, just kinda seeing the pretty much the scale of the mob farm and the cobblestone 3000, which is really funny how tiny it actually is. I can't believe we already did something massive like this, but I'm really happy with the result and hopefully you guys are going to like it as well. Well, this took a lot longer to record, a couple more hours. Well, I guess it was more like few hours, 3 or 4 hours more than I thought it would, since you probably know that my original plan for the 45 block radius circle was to have a ton of automated farms over here. Well, turns out that we barely even had enough to actually decorate the mob farm, and that was definitely kinda strange. I thought we would fit a ton more of the farms and stuff, but I guess one giant mob farm is another nice thing that we can do. Go big or go home, as they say. But again, as I said, this took a lot longer than I actually anticipated, and I had no idea that 45 block radius circle is almost not big enough for us to actually decorate the mob farm. Just to think that I thought they like a 13 block radius circle would be a big enough of a platform. Imagine if I actually have it as a 13 block radius circle and we try to map this mob farm. I would probably cry and quit the series. Luckily I was able to change my mind and it turned out to better, although right now we only have like enough space for maybe like paths to lead to other farms like the Cobblegen 3000. This took a lot of the time and I kinda messed a few things over here. Luckily the whole circle was actually fine, it was just one slab missing, but we need to still fill this in. This is one of the things that I absolutely love about Bedrock. If we are like 5 blocks away from the ground, we can't place the block on the ground, but we don't have to aim at like slabs and the sides of the blocks to actually place them, we can just kinda place them in the air. This definitely saved a lot of the time, but luckily the Cobblegen 3000 as well saved like a couple hours maybe at the cobblestone, since we are getting like 3 times the amount, and I have a tutorial for my Cobblegen if you guys actually want to check it out. But we're just going to continue and fill the whole thing in with the cobblestone slabs. You better prepare for what you're about to see, and look at that! The platform from the bottom just made the whole thing like 200 times better. I had no idea that just adding like a platform from the bottom at the top like a little cap would just do so much for the hourglass. But this looks absolutely insane. I still need to add the walls, which is probably the next thing I want to do. But look how amazing it looks. We need to kinda light it up since it's pretty much black in the middle and at the top of the mob farm. And when I say that the Cobblegen actually saved us few hours already, I don't mean in this episode since I didn't really spend that much time mining in this episode. I pretty much mean at the time that I spent off camera, pretty much preparing for the videos, gathering resources such as cobblestone, which helps us a ton in situations like this, and of course gathering some trees. And there is something wrong over there, I probably miscounted something. I think that slab has to go into cobblestone. Imagine if I actually made this whole circle like one block off, oh that would definitely be terrible. I mean, I should be able to fix it, but I feel like it's just like a mistake with the cobble and the smooth stone slab, so I'm just going to take care of that later, and I'm really crossing my fingers that I didn't do this whole thing one block off, although it does seem like it's actually centered to the middle of the actual mob farm, so I'm just kinda going to let it be. But the cobblestone generator 3000 is absolutely amazing, and I just love just seeing it from the top over here, just how tiny it actually is. I thought it was kinda cute and maybe a little big, the build that we actually did first time, but seeing the actual scale of the mob farm right now is just insane how massive it actually is. I don't really usually see a lot of people like focusing on decorations in like the Skyblock series, and I don't really think that's a great idea. I know usually they just keep it like cobblestone and wood, but actually decorating and spending some time making your Skyblock look really nice is kinda a big plus in my book, and I think that we actually managed to pull that off really nicely, but there is still a lot more things that I need to do for this mob farm. Oh yeah, that looks insane. If we can just have 2 minutes without falling off trees, we would have a much better look at the mob farm. I think it turned out really nicely. Just look at those walls, it actually added another layer of depth. We have the actual spruce slabs where it actually ended, the oak slabs, the spruce logs, and now the cobblestone that we have at the top, and the actual walls. It just has like 4 or 5 different layers of that, and I absolutely love how this turned out. But we need to kinda light it up in the middle and at the top. After further inspection, I came to the conclusion that our pillars are absolutely amazing, but they're missing some supports at the top and the bottom, so that's exactly what we're working on right now. Using the bone blocks as our main building block, we are decorating it with some bird poop stuff, like polished bird poop stairs, bird poop walls, and some iron trapdoors, which are all expensive and limited amount of the resources, but they make up for it with the great looks, at least in my opinion. I hope you guys are ready, and BAM! Look how amazing that looks! Oh my god, I didn't think it would actually look this great. I decided to pretty much do the same thing that we did at the bottom at the top of the actual pillars, and then I kinda take a look at it and I was like, there's something missing in the middle, so I added another little decoration pretty much halfway through the actual pillars, and I can't believe how amazing that looks. I'm so happy with the end result, and I really hope you guys actually like this mob farm as much as I do. There is a couple more things that I need to do, so I kinda experimented with some polished andesite instead of the oak, but I didn't really have enough resources. One thing I want to do is actually check our mob farm, since we are actually working on this a lot. Look how many resources we have. Look at all those mob drops. They're pretty much almost filled as far as the rotten flesh goes. We have 3 and almost 3.5 stacks of bones. That's crazy. We have almost 4 stacks of the gunpowder. I can't believe the mob farm actually produces this much resources and mob drops. Although we did spend a couple hours actually kind of building around it, so we were actually generating a lot of the mobs. I'm really happy with the amount of these. I definitely need to clear it out and set up the filters again. This is something that I don't usually do on camera, like gathering resources and then sorting them in the chest, but look how majestic our mob farm looks just kinda loading in. And hello there, spider, you're not actually supposed to be here, you should be at the mob farm. Guess I need to kinda light up this area a little bit better. This is all of the stuff that we got from the jungle phase. You can see a lot of the flowers and some new saplings, but this is our little mob farm chest, or pretty much the mob drop chest. And you can see we have a ton of rotten flesh. We pretty much can fill the whole double chest worth of the mob drops, which I didn't really think would be in like episode 3. You can see that we are pretty much going to fill the whole slot of the actual double chest with bones, which is insane. And maybe when we get the villager, we are gonna be able to make a ton of money. Well, emeralds at least. And the ender pearls are really useful, and I absolutely love them, especially working on the mob farm. We do actually get a surprisingly high number of the actual ender pearls, since the enderman that actually spawned can teleport anyway outside of the actual killing chamber and just kinda kill them in the actual mob farm. And one thing that I want to ask you guys is, what do you think we should do instead of the oak? The oak over there was kinda supposed to be the actual like top and bottom of the mob farm, but later on I decided this whole circle is going to be like the bottom part of the mob farm and kinda like the cap at the top, which the pillars are actually gonna be supporting. So I don't know if we should actually keep the oak over here, maybe just replace it with cobblestone. If you guys have any ideas, let me know. But right now I just kinda want to go at the top of the mob farm, since this is all like slabs, we can just kinda teleport through it. And I know that I had a couple of the bone blocks just kinda sticking at the top over here that we can gather, since you're not really going to see them, and we can definitely use all of the bone meal that we can actually get. Right now I only got like maybe 2 or 3 redstone from the witches, so hopefully one day soon we're gonna be able to actually automate some farms with the bone meal and the redstone. But this is pretty much the place where mobs actually can spawn. They can only maybe spawn at the actual oak slabs that we have the torches on. All the rest is actually bottom half slab with the cobblestone and the spruce and this moonstone over here, so they can't actually spawn. But this is a long way down and I don't definitely want to fall off, since I'm going to lose all of my levels, and that's definitely something I don't want to do. I can't find my way down, so Geronimo! I'm just kidding, of course we're going to use an ender pearl. Well, I'm just carefully going to throw my ender pearl, since I don't want to hit a slab on the way down, just kind of fall through into the void. One thing that I didn't actually show you guys was the inside of the mob farm, which pretty much contains like hundreds of torches, which definitely took a little bit of the wood, but it was actually worth it. We already had some coal and charcoal, so we didn't really get that much of the levels from it, but the whole thing over here at the bottom is pretty much torches underneath the slabs, so you can see it's really bright. But of course we can do the same thing on the top, otherwise we won't really have a mob farm, so I kinda have to keep them outside, which is definitely not the best look, but I guess we're going to go for it. I pretty much left this corner and the backside of the actual mob farm without torches, so you guys can see how dark it actually gets if you don't use any torches, and it definitely kinda ruins the actual shape, so that's something that I want to kinda get rid of. So I guess we're gonna have to kinda bite the bullet and actually use some torches. Although it's not really that big of a deal, it's definitely kinda eye-catchy. You can see the 3 main torches pretty much in the middle of the mob farm, where we have that little platform for them to actually fall through. And I kinda enderpearled the wrong way, I can't really find my way on the tree. I'm just going to break some leaves and kinda parkour my way to the top. I usually just kinda hit the enderpearl spot on over here, but this time we just kinda have to improvise. But let's just take one final look at the mob farm, and I think this actually turned out really nicely. It took so much time and I really hope you guys actually liked it. Only thing that we did to progress in the series is get to the jungle phase, but I mean decoration is definitely a win in my book, and I don't really see many people actually do these massive builds, especially not in like episode 3, so hopefully you guys are going to appreciate that, and maybe drop a like down below or tell me any suggestions that you have, how can we actually improve the mob farm, but I'm really happy with it. Hopefully you guys actually enjoyed this video. It definitely took a bit more time than usual, and we have a massive build on episode 3, so I'm really happy with that. If you guys actually enjoyed this video, make sure to drop a like down below and subscribe if you're new. It's completely free, takes only a couple seconds, and it helps the channel out tremendously. Other than that, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.